You already know the manipulated version of the Void conflict, twisted by the lying hypocrite known as Patra. But it's important to point out that this version is fabricated, and today we will show you the true face of each of them. Patra, Rikers, Raven, Narshiars, Torsion, the biggest losers and manipulators in the Polish community. Starts with him claiming he will try to remain objective. Unfortunately, he failed miserably, and we will prove why later in this material. Patra encountered them twice, and both times he quit after just a few minutes once he was locked at the spawn. So why? Patra, don't you show those recordings? Why did you take 2 battles against Void, which lasted around 6 hours in total, and turn them into only a 14-minute video? Why do you never release a clear list of the rules you supposedly fight by? Patra is the kind of manipulator who uses social media to twist your worldview. Has it never crossed your mind?
Why he avoids live battles with real rules? Of course, he excuses it with private matters and real life. Yet every week he uploads new episodes of fights against 12-year-olds in Simple Sandbox 2. Why does he refuse a fair live battle with rules, claiming he has no time, and then goes after Polish kids who can't even defend themselves? I repeat the invitation, Patra, come to a live battle, bring whoever you want to help you. Everything will be streamed on YouTube.
Patra is not only a hypocrite and a manipulator, but he also doesn't even understand the concept of clans in this game. He complains that Bartosz called for backup, but let me remind you, at that time Bartosz was a member of Void, the very clan that humiliated you so badly that you rage quit servers the moment you saw their veterans. What exactly did you expect after attacking one of our members? For you, this war was your entire life, but for us, you didn't even exist. You weren't fighting us, you were hiding all along. Bartosz was part of Void, so of course he received support from the clan he belonged to. Don't try to paint us as the aggressors. Instead of talking to Void leaders about the matter with Bartosz, you decided to launch an attack. When you couldn't accept defeat, you started provoking on YouTube because you aren't capable of real fighting. Instead, you'd rather spend all your free time after work editing videos, rather than actually battling. You claim we only won because of spawned vehicles, but Patra, your team were the hosts. Why didn't you disable the option to spawn vehicles?
Let me show you real rules created by X-Men. Some of those achieved far more than you, not only in this game, but also in real life. Every time a war is declared or a battle is organized, clear rules are set. If no rules are set, then the fight is carried out under the general rules established by a 200-person Polish community. If you really cared about your viewers, you would use those rules. Instead, you never mention in your videos what rules you play by, and you never show the full evidence. Show your viewers every fight against Void, unedited, from the very start until the moment you leave the server. Later, Hopper shows our private messages where invited into a duel, to a battle. How else are we supposed to wage war in this game? You keep fighting 12-year-old kids here all the time, but suddenly when someone competent challenges you to a real fight, it becomes harassment.
And why did you block Yoda? I thought the truth was supposed to defend itself. I didn't block anyone, especially after I was the one who started this conflict. You claimed you wanted peace, but when I offered it, you refused.
Playing the role of the victim. If you were truly the victim, you would have accepted peace. Another clear example of your manipulation. You bring up comments you supposedly received from our members. But of course, you deleted every inconvenient comment. Why do you remove the voices of people who disagree with you? That's how you manipulate your audience. You claim your videos are the truth, so why don't you let others speak? Communists also censored and silenced anyone who disagreed with them. Why are you doing the same thing? If you're truly spreading only truth without manipulation, then let your viewers express their opinions on that. That's how the world works. If you can't handle the fact that someone might disagree with you, maybe you should consider therapy. Talk to someone and get yourself treated. Because what kind of truth requires silencing everyone with a different opinion?
Hopper talks about his duel with Nikito and claims it was fake. But since the very beginning of the Void conflict, Patra has constantly been changing his nickname and account. At one point, he even used cheats, something Cavern has already proven, and I will include that footage in this video. Patra agreed to the duel because he thought he might somehow win and then humiliate his opponent. Just to cover up the fact that he's weak. I have already shown how he manipulates his viewers, and now he's doing the same thing again, twisting the story so he doesn't lose face in front of his audience. He even tries to dismiss criticism by pointing out that some accounts are newly created. But what does that even mean? Our members create alternate accounts to upload videos about you simply because they didn't have YouTube accounts before. Not everyone spends as much time online as you do. Later, he mocks us for behaving properly, like decent people. But Patra, what you are doing is illegal, and you are breaking Polish law with your content. We will of course provide the exact articles you have violated, and in line with our civic duty, we have reported you to the police. You distributed adult content on servers meant for children. You attacked and harassed underage players of this game. You used inappropriate language in your videos and incited hatred. All of this deserves justice because you are breaking the law. It's not enough that you manipulate your viewers. Now you even mock people who demand justice for someone who repeatedly violates the law.
Jebać kurwa, jebać wyruchała jak wyrucha kurwa. Kukle kurwa, to jest dramat kurwa, kurwy, ruchał w dupę, kurwa dyma, kurwa rarakan, jebany kurwa od kurwa idioci, ja mam to w piździe kurwa, wypierdolę kurwa debile, kurestwo kurwy w dupę jebanych, kurwa, popierdoleńcu, kurwa, chuje, jebać, ruchać kurwów.